So yeah, at the beginning of 45, they kind of recap what happened with Doberman.
Yeah. So I'm
And
not quite sure exactly how this works, but it's just straight up like, okay, whatever. It gave them evolution power, and now they confuse with their Digimon again.
maybe it just like it's Digimon magic. The
Yeah.
kids can the kids can exist as digital beings now.
Yeah, they just gained that ability for some reason.
It's like a cyber sleuth where you become a digital being, but you can walk around in the real world.
Yeah, but that's because you had hit by an eater.
Yeah, well, this is Digimon magic. Don't worry about it. Also, it's specifically because you get attacked by an eater as you're logging out.
Yeah. Can you imagine if, like, yo, they gain this power and Takao's just, like, using wall hack and stuff? Like, he
Jumping.
just turns invisible.
Yeah.
Takao's like, hang on, I'd hack into that military satellite. And he, like, manages to beam himself into the D Reaper. But yeah, like, we have the little moment where, like, everyone has a bit of introspection that's like, I assume this is meant to kind of, like, somewhat complete their character arcs, basically.
Yeah, we honestly should have gotten these moments when they first went Mega,
Yeah,
because
but,
it seems like the character growth moment that they should have gotten when that happens.
yeah, it's
Because
fine.
Henry's like, the reason I hold back is because I was trained in martial arts and I hurt a kid when I was young because I went too far.
So the Steven Universe problem, then.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Anyone who's, like, mad to that episode knows what I mean. Or it's just a
Yeah,
point where it's like Connie just like learns to fight and someone sneaks up on her and she like judo flips them and she just feels super bad about it.
oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, they have a whole song about it and everything.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, fun
Henry.
fact, like before we go on, that episode was like made with like effing like Trigger's help or something. So it's like looks way better than every other episode in the series. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
sorry, continue.
I was gonna say that's why Henry acted the way he did in the beginning of the series. It's because
Yeah.
he's worried he'll hurt somebody.
Yeah. Man,
But,
and now
but
he's gonna hurt everybody.
well, Henry's like, well, now we have power, and we have the power to fight, and we have to use it. And
Man,
I think so. I think this is the first time Mega Gargamon uses Burst Fire,
yeah.
which makes sense because it's like, okay, Henry's letting it all out. He's like full power, so it's just like open all the payloads.
You remember that episode of Adventure Time? When, like, Jake's just like, oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt somebody. And his dad's like, yo, don't worry, son, you're gonna hurt everybody. And he's like, no!
I don't remember.
I'll just, like, link the clip. It's just such a good little moment.
That sounds like an Adventure Time moment.
I don't want to hurt anybody. Well, that's too bad, because you're gonna hurt everybody.
All I know is that Jake's dad was kind of a piece of crap.
Oh, yeah.
Like, apparently everybody has parental issues in that show.
Yeah, literally everyone. Finn's mom is a freaking robot.
I didn't know that.
She becomes an effing robot AI intent on helping people.
I knew that Finn's dad was a really piece of crap. But
Yeah, Finn's dad just, like, leaves him via Space Moth. And he's like, well, kid, guess I'll see you around. That's the last we see of him, I believe. Uh,
But yeah, so Henry's like, I was afraid. Now you had to hold back. Now we gotta fight, and then we got Eureka.
Yeah,
Uh,
Enrique's is kind of weird but interesting because it seems very incomplete.
I think what it is something like her father wished that she had been born a boy, and that's why Rika kind of rebelled against her
Against, like,
mother.
her mother, yeah.
Yeah, like the cutesy clothing and stuff, and that's why she's like a tomboy.
Yeah. And she's like, no, but maybe it's because of that that and it just kind of, like, cuts off. It's
It's like,
like, I guess that's what's getting at, but yeah. She also mentions that, like, at first she had, like, growing up and stuff, because, like, well, I guess not growing up, but, like, being around the others, because it made her feel like she was being weaker.
yeah, losing that part of her. She's like losing that part of me where I felt like I had to win everything made me feel weak, and then she realizes that no, that's not true. Like
Yeah.
like gaining friends and whatnot is a good thing.
Yeah. It's probably, like, it does feel a bit like we're cliche or whatever, but, like, I actually do really like Rika's arc in this. Cause
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, she learns that, like, like, not being aggressive and, like, helping other people is, like, a type of strength too, and she, like, uses that in her abilities and stuff. Like,
Rika.
Tsukuyamon comes out and it's literally destroying things by, like, extending a barrier outwards.
Yeah, Rika realized she doesn't have to push people away, and it
Yeah.
that by accepting people, it doesn't make her weak.
Yeah, yeah. Like, being aggressive isn't, like, the only way to be, like, strong, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had Takatos, and he's just like, oh man, Guilmon's so great, I wish we would be together, Guilmon, you're awesome.
Yeah, Takato's feels like the weakest, honestly. But
Yeah.
I honestly, it's because Takato's character hasn't really been. He doesn't feel like he has a major hang up on anything.
Yeah,
'Cause
like,
he's shown in protagonist, so he's like he has his ups and downs. But at the end of the day, he's kind of like shown in hero kid.
yeah, like, Takao's, like, grown as a person, but real talk, like, is Takao the weakest of, like, the three cast members in terms of, like, character?
Probably
Yeah, cause, like, I.
doesn't mean I dislike Takato,
Oh,
but
yeah, definitely.
yeah, he's probably the weakest character wise.
Yeah, because it feels like they've tried to give him stuff, because, like, he didn't really have a big flaw to overcome at first outside of his experience, which just sort of, like, came naturally. And ever since then, they've been, like, trying to give him flaws to overcome, and none of them have really, like, worked as well as they want them to, it feels like.
Yeah,
Cause like it, yeah. Cause at
the
first he had
issue
the thing of like, oh, he's scared of his Digimon, and it's like, ah, no, that didn't really work for me.
the issue with Takato is they give him small things to work out that he gets over in like an episode or two. Like
Yeah,
at first he's afraid of Guilmon, but he gets over that, and then he's afraid of Guilmon evolving, and then he gets over that, and then he's for some reason hung up on the fact that Guilmon is just made of data, and
yeah.
then he gets over
He's Guilmon's not special. He's like replaceable, and he's like, no, he's not, and that's the arc.
Yeah. Takato has a lot of little hangups that get resolved way too quickly because they have to. He's the
Yeah,
main character, so usually when something gets fixed, it's Guilmon who does it.
yeah. I just wish they were able to, like, flesh any of these out into something a bit more, right?
So I think they're like Rika and Henry have pretty good character developments, and I think this series has the Digimon with the most personality, like their partners,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and I think that helps balance out the kids who
Yeah.
might not be as interesting, but they work really well off their partners.
Yeah, because, like, Romon has her own character arc she goes through. And, like, it doesn't last super long, but it's there.
Renamon goes through a similar character arc to Rika.
Yeah.
like not the I don't want to accept people thing, but more so the I need to fight to get stronger and nothing else matters
Yeah,
thing.
Ron has this whole thing of like, I need to do this on my own, I need to be better. And she realizes like, oh no, I can like rely on our people, basically.
More specifically, she can rely on her partner,
Yeah.
and Rico learns that lesson too.
Like, Terriermon doesn't really have an arc, he's just kind of stays a little punk.
Yeah, but Terriermon, I think Henry goes through like the most
Yeah.
growth.
Guilmon, like, becomes more well behaved.
Guillemon gets a little more mature, and it's
Yeah.
fitting. He's like a baby when he meets Staccato.
Yeah, he's literally, like, just been born. Even though he's a rookie. But yeah, point is, they all get their mega levels, and, like, I think Gallantmon has this cool moment where he's like, you're destroying the city and hurting these innocents and stuff. And he's like, I, Dukemon, will not allow that.
He's like standing there with his arms crossed
On
and
the
like
building.
dramatic pose. Yeah,
I will say, epic, like, Takato just being, like, just, like, effing, like, what's the right term for this? Super Sentai hero to the max?
yeah.
Like, that's probably, like, the most likable he's been all series. Not because, like, I had Takao before, but because this is a really fun personality trait for him to go into.
Yeah, he transforms into Duke Gallantmon.
Yeah. And
And
he's
it's like
like, I'll,
it's like
smite the wicked, your attacks won't even touch me.
yeah, Kaido takes on like the Royal Knight personality like really easily.
Yeah, it's so good. I kind of
There's
wonder,
also
like, how much of this they kept in the dub.
I don't know. There is the issue, and no, I mean no disrespect to Steve Bloom, who always does a great job, but he's doing it with Guillemon's voice.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, and to be fair, in the Japanese version, it's Masuko Nozawa, voice of Goku, who's like an old lady.
Yeah. But at least they have, like, experience with this type of stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
Because, like, I feel like
like
it does work.
yeah, Masuko Nozawa is used to doing like battle cries and whatnot,
Yeah.
and I guess just because I've grown to accept Japanese voice Goku, I can easily accept the voice that Galamon has.
Can we just take a moment to, like, just be like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z voice actors are, like, nuts and, like, they're, like, on a different level because
Yeah,
they have to be.
yeah, they gotta scream like crazy.
Scream like a madman for 20 minutes straight.
I mean, so that makes me think of like the Super Saiyan 3 transformation scene. And of course, Sean Schimmel probably took breaks in between screaming, but even in between, like even with that in mind, he does do quite a few stretches of really long, loud screams.
I remember, like, hearing some interview or something from, like, some commentary track where one of them, I think it was, like, Chris Sabar or something, was like, oh yeah, no, they asked to do, like, like, 10 separate, like, types of screams for the auditions, and we had to, like, master all of them. And he's like, yeah, you have to vary up your screams, and you have to have like all these different types, and you have to do the growly ones and stuff. And it's like, oh, this is way more involved than I expected.
Yeah, if you don't go hard on it, then the yells are gonna sound bad.
You have to scream the dictionary in character.
Also, on the topic of Digimon, everybody's doing their big attacks on the D Reaper's agents. Why does Mega Gargamon run in and try to punch one?
Yeah, that's a weird thing, because, like, I do appreciate that, like, Henry has stuck with the whole martial arts thing. So he's like, alright, I was gonna do my martial arts pose and just punch this thing into the ground. But it doesn't work, and it just starts strangling Mega Gargamon. And he's like,
Yeah,
oh, well, missiles, I guess.
yeah. Mega Gargamon is a walking arsenal. Like, I
Yeah.
understand like the kung fu thing, but like, dude,
It's like the least thing Digimon to be doing martial arts. Cause it's like
or
just
is
a
it?
big, like, walking heavy, like, gun bunny.
With those gigantic heavy arms, though, he could inflict some serious damage with punches and kicks.
Yeah,
The problem is we don't see that very often.
yeah. Like, I feel like even though he's not like stand to be especially slow or whatever, I get the impression that Gargamon's kind of slow and bulky. Like he's kind of clunky in how he moves and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like I feel like there's probably better Digimon they could have made to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna run in and kung fu a guy to death.
Yeah.
Still though, I guess whatever works, right?
Yeah.
It's still cool to see. Like,
And then we get. Hmm?
can you imagine if like Lee got Gallantmon instead? And he's like doing his martial arts stuff, and he pulls out the sword and shield afterwards for the final blow.
Well, a Gallantmon's still like a big creature in armor.
Yeah, but he's nowhere near as bulky.
Yeah.
Like, I could believe Gauntmon would be able to, like, throw a couple of swift punches. I'm not so sure about Mega Gargamon.
Yeah, especially since we know that he can choose to not have the lance and the shield out.
Yeah. Fun fact, apparently that lance is just straight up his arm.
Yeah, it morphs into the lance, but I like the fact that he can choose to have it on or not. Like
Yeah.
he can have regular hands if he chooses.
That's still
I
so weird to me. That's like, the shield isn't something he summons, it's like part of his body.
yeah, but I've made my thoughts on that kind of thing clear. It's like I'm not crazy on Omnimon's design because he has useless, dumb weapon hands that don't work for anything
Yeah.
but fighting, which makes sense. He's Omnimon, he's a fighter, but I don't know. It feels weird. Meanwhile, Gallantmon can choose to switch back to regular hands if he wants.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to imagine, like, if Omnimon had normal hands, what would that even look like?
They'd be white and like look like his like middle half.
But would they, like, come out of the mouths of the monster heads?
No, the way I imagine is those aren't even there, and he just has like white arms with like kind of like the striped pattern on his torso.
But those are, like, the real buys for, like, the other two, so they have to be somewhere.
I'm not saying like this is just like like a situation where like we're thinking of a design where he doesn't have
Yeah.
those like head or
I'm
arms.
trying to figure out how that would even work, right?
Or
Like,
you could just have a War Greymon sword and a Metal Garurumon gun.
I'm imagining, like, like the War Drawn head, like, goes up his arm and you see the hand come out of its mouth, so it has more room. I don't know, I guess that would work. So it could just come down and the hand goes in and then the sword comes out. Maybe? I don't know. Omnimon's weird, man. And the fact that it's like the basis for so many big, like, powerful Digimon is even weirder.
Yeah, and then there's other Digimon that have a similar design, like Chaosmon has just
Yeah.
like a big Bancho Leomon head for an arm.
Because Omnimon exists, you're not allowed to just hold weapons. It has to be an animal head that the weapon comes out of.
Yeah, it can't just be like you can't just incorporate the designs of the two Digimon that fused. It has to be like a almost featureless white body with the heads of the Digimon that fused into it on its arms.
Man, have you ever seen, like, Omnimon Alter S?
Doesn't sound familiar.
It's a fusion between, like, Blitz Greymon and Crest Garurumon. It's basically just Omnimon, but it looks a bit better. but it still has the big goofy arms.
Omnimon Alter S. That's pretty cool.
It's like, it's still shackled by the arms, though.
Yeah. That makes me think, though. Makes me think about things for Digimon 2020.
Because I do know just straight up that it's like, oh yeah, like, effing Blitzgreymonn's a thing.
Yeah, I figured you might.
Yeah, I got spoiled on that.
Of course. Yeah. Apparently they can go into different forms, and I didn't even know Blitzgreymon existed. And now I love Blitzgreymon because he's freaking awesome looking.
Yeah. Man, have you ever seen Crescarumon's sick.
Whoa. Whoa. That's so. I've also made my stance on quadrupedal Digimon known. I like this design way more than Metal Garurumon.
Yeah, you get like the gold armor, you get the crazy spear. He's like a crazy knight dude.
Yeah.
I really like that, like, their alter forms, like, switch weapon types, so it's like Garumon's the melee fighter and, like, Greymon's the ranger.
Yeah. So now that I know that these exist and that form of Omnimon exists, I think I know how they're gonna one-up the Omnimon transformation from the beginning of the series.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Get Alter S as a like, oh, there's a big thing gonna happen. We just have to get to the point where Matt has Garurumon turn into this.
Yeah.
As soon as that evolution happens, I'm gonna be 100% sure that's what's gonna happen.
I'm already sure it's coming, because of course.
I'll believe it when Cresgarurumon happens.
Man, Crescarumon's gonna be effing sick in that show. Like, I can already feel it. That's gonna be a good transformation.
Yeah. Oh man. Back to Tamers. When Gallantmon does his big like shield blast attack, like it charges up and like the triangles on it light up one at a time.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like, a shot of Gallantmon's face and he's like super shiny.
Yeah. I love that, like, the shield takes so long to charge up. It makes it feel so much more powerful.
Yeah, that's the charge up, but then it fires a stupid powerful laser out of it.
Man. I think just shouts Disco Elysium.
Final Elysium, but
I know what I said.
There was something else. Oh yeah, Final Elysian. Kazu, Kenta, and Susie.
Yeah.
They're hanging out at home watching TV, and it's like, oh hey, we should probably help, and so they do. And boy, was I wrong. Because I was like, oh yeah, we'll probably never see Antilamon again. I don't remember it ever evolving.
Nope, there they are.
I was wrong.
Yeah, apparently, like, after you lose your Deva powers, you still know what the form is, so you can just do it. You just need a tamer to evolve you.
Yeah, well, it happened with Beelzemon too, so...
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense.
Beelzemon evolved, and then he lost the power from the Sovereigns, but then Digimon with partners are really strong, so they get to evolve anyways.
Yeah. It's like, you already know what the form is, so it's like, it's already unlocked, you just need the requirements to get up there, and the tamer does that for you. So, like, I'd assume that, like, you know, hypothetically, like, if Mom was just in the digital world, and he was just absorbing data left and right, like, somehow, like, he was just stealing it or something, yeah, he'd get there eventually. Because, like, now that it's unlocked, you know, you just have it, you just have to get up there.
He's got a picture of Antilamon walking past the buildings.
Yeah. Just the best shot they have, because he just walks past, and they're like, hey, what's that? And Susie's like, oh yeah, Teelamon's gonna help. No, they say,
sister.
like, is that Lopmon? And he's like, no, not Lopmon anymore, it's Antilamon now.
Where's Lopmon? Is that Lopmon? It's not Lopmon, that's Antilamon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like though when Lopmon chooses to go out, he's like, hey, yo, I need to help that, I need to help my friends.
Yeah, thou must, you have to let me go.
Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, I learned.
Yeah. And, hey, Susie lets Lopmon go.
Yeah, Susie's a good tamer.
Yeah, Susie doesn't, like, whine and complain that she can't go or whatever. She's like, Antilamon's just gotta do this.
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Also, I think, I guess it might be Kazu's mother.
Yeah, she's just, or like his sister or something's just kicking the crap out of Gardramon.
She looks really young, is why I'm not sure.
I assume it's like a sister. And Gardramon's like, hey, yo, should we do something? And Kazu's like, yeah, yo, we're tamers too. We have to help.
So it could be his sister, but it also could be that his mother is doing like the Gyaru thing.
Yeah.
Like tan themselves and like wear a bunch of makeup and stuff.
Yeah, it could be.
So I believe that, but who knows? It's never stated.
Yeah. I like that Kazu is his own little arc off screen where he's like, oh yeah, yo, well, like, I should go over this. I had to put my Digimon in danger. Like, we actually have to help out the others and stuff. And just go for it.
Yeah, Kenta's like, I gotta go too. Although I don't think Kenta is gonna get there anytime soon because he can't just ride his Digimon.
I was imagining, like, he just sits on, like, Marine Angemon and it actually works, and it's just flying him around.
Marine Angemon is a mega.
Yeah.
Like, as tiny as it is, it's still a mega.
Like, he just, like, lays back and Marine Angemon just grabs him from behind and just flying him around like that. Just flying him around by, like, his shirt or something.
If we're being real, Marine Angemon would probably summon, like, some bubbles, or, like, put him in a bubble, and then, like, fly.
Nah, man, I'm imagining just straight up, like, just grabs his arm, and it's just, like, flying him around one-handed.
But yeah, eventually we get to a part where the D-Reaper just kind of grabs Gallantmon and pulls him in.
Yeah. Because, like, there's just a million agents everywhere, so yeah, they're off guard.
Yeah. So he gets pulled in, and he meets what seems to be Jerry.
Yeah, seemingly. Except,
it's not Jerry.
No, not anymore. Jerry has left the building.
It's not Jerry at all. Like, Jerry is physically somewhere else. This is an agent that looks like Jerry.
Oh, right. Alright, yeah. Huh. Because I feel like I do vaguely know about that at some point. Oh, yeah, also we learned that, like, the agents are made from, like, loaded Digimon, so they just killed Digimon, took their forms.
Yeah. And since the D-Reaper, like, hitched a ride with Jerry back to the human world, that's why this agent looks like it.
Yeah. Also, apparently... Also, apparently, since going to the real world, the D-Reaper can't really process data as well. So it's not just destroying everything it touches, it has to actually, like, work for it a bit.
Well, living organisms are more complex to analyze, and that's why it's taking so long.
Yeah, so, like, it absorbs Gallantmon and, like, sucks into it. And, like, the evolution's going undone. Like, it'll destroy them eventually, but it takes a bit.
Yeah. There's a cool shot, it's like the D-Reaper agent, like, grows and, like, gets, like, weird, lanky proportions and sprouts, like, these creepy wings. And it's, like, it's walking towards Takato, and as it walks by them, the leaves start dying. And it's like, yeesh.
Yeah, that's the thing, cause like, cause yeah, like, we do see Jerry again, cause like, Galmon starts getting destroyed, and he's like, oh hey, go down there near the forest, there's no D-Reaper over that way. So they do, and there's the Jerry agent there. Agent J.
Also, real quick, I'm gonna assume that we don't see a cord attached to this one. I assume that because they're inside of it, it doesn't need it.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, like, this shows up, and it's like, oh hey, yo, I'm not Jerry, but the human known as Jerry was a fascinating sample that we used to gain all kinds of insight and stuff. You know, it turns out her mental state at the time was very close to what the D-Reaper feels, or whatever. Which implies that it's like the D-Reaper is just like, or rather like, Jerry, yeah. That's like Jerry just want everything to end or something, I guess. Or like want things to become less complicated, and the D-Reaper is like, yeah, that's what I want. But also implies like depression, which is interesting.
Nihilism.
Yeah.
Nihilism is what they're going for.
Yeah, that makes way more sense, actually. Like, nihilism.
Nothing matters.
Yeah, just gotta do your job and destroy the extra data. You know, get rid of the, like, unnecessary.
Yeah.
But, man, I don't know if I have time to look this up, but it was like, what was the exact quote again? Like, destroy the inevitable or something? I'll find out in a second. Just keep going for a bit.
This is a message to humans and Digimon. D-Reapers conclude that humans are not worthy of existing.
No. Well, that's not what I was thinking, but yeah, this too.
Thinking of something else specifically. Oh, it was from a previous episode where...
So sad. What a sad little Digimon. It's not necessary, you know. Sadness can be deleted.
Right, okay, yeah, from the previous set of episodes. No, from a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, or if you're watching the subs, sadness, an incomprehensible idea. The unnecessary should be eliminated. Man, it's still so weird how they word that in the dub.
Yeah. And yeah, the nothing matters thing continues here, where Takato's like yelling, "Where's Jerry?" And the D-Reaper's like, "It doesn't matter. The D-Reaper will delete her anyways."
Oof. I mean, I guess that's what she wanted, though. Oh boy, this is getting dark.
This is a lot of people remember Tamers for this part of the series.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's like,
and yeah, it does get really like, oh man, that girl's messed up, and like this is a really bad situation.
Because yeah, like it's not just like, oh, this is so edgy and dark and stuff, therefore it's good. It's like, no. This is getting dark in a way that's really, like, interesting and, like, complex and, like, well-written, you know?
A whole existential crisis going on here.
Like, it's, like, working on a very thematic level with what the thread is, and that's really cool and interesting.
And this is why kids who grew up with the series continue to love it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like... yeah, it keeps it kid-friendly, but it doesn't mess around.
Like, it doesn't talk down to kids, honestly, at this point.
That's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, it's clear enough that, like, you know, a kid will understand, but it's also, like, you know, explaining all these crazy complicated ideas, and it's like, hey, you know, let's, like, deal with, like, nihilism and, like, depression and all the things that does to a person, and, you know, do with this person who's, like, yeah, they're, like, overcome with, like, despair over, like, facing this death, and they can't deal with it, and they just freeze.
Yeah. and part of it is like this seems like a novel, or this seems like a unique and special thing to us here in America. Uh, but from what I understand, like anime isn't necessarily targeted specifically at children in Japan.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are exceptions to that, but for the most part, the wider audience, like it doesn't seem like it's meant for everyone. They don't like
Yeah, yeah.
dedicate too much time to this one's for the children, this one's for the adults.
Like they have their categories made from within then. It's like, yo, it's more of like a general feel or guideline as opposed to like, yo, like
People
yeah.
of all people of all ages can enjoy like shonen or whatever.
Yeah,
Even though
cuz
I'm pretty sure shonen means like a young boy.
yeah, it's specifically aimed towards like teenagers and stuff. And like seinen's aimed at like adults. But like that usually just means there's a lot of like, gore and fucking. And like I feel like that calf does cut things off a bit.
Yeah.
Like I
Also,
can't
I mean,
imagine big kids are gonna be reading Berserk.
yeah, there's certain anime that's totally not meant for kids, but anime as a wide on a wider scale isn't is meant for kind of anyone who wants to watch it. Like in America, like cartoons are for kids. Period. That's how
Yeah.
most people see it.
Yeah, like of course, like adults can enjoy Tom and Jerry and stuff, but it's like you put that on and you know who you're aiming at, right?
Yeah. Case in point, my mom doesn't care. Like I recommended Into the Spider Verse because
Yeah,
it's a really good Spider-Man movie, and her response was, "That's the animated one, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Oh well, I didn't watch that one because it's animated."
yeah,
Like it's straight up, it's like, "Oh, it's a cartoon. That's kid stuff. I don't want to watch that."
yeah. It feels like over here, it's like there's a hard like distinction, between like kids media, like sort of like teen media and like adult media, right?
Yeah,
Because you'll have like you have your like action movies and stuff at like one end that's kind of like crosses over a bit, and you have straight up like teen dramas and like stuff like the new Archie or like the effing like Wings Club reboot or whatever that's like specifically hard aimed at like a very specific demographic that's
yeah,
usually just hates the crap anyways, but sometimes they get a winner in there. And you have like kids media that's like, just straight up like animation. And it's breaking out of the mold more recently, but it's generally seen as just like, oh, it's like, yeah, you're gonna watch Hotel Transylvania or something. Like it's gonna be like wacky puns and jokes just to get the kids to shut for an hour.
yeah. But I mean, Hotel Transylvania is pretty good, actually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, my mom just like it's in her head. Into the Spider Verse is a kids movie. Never mind that Kingpin just murders Spider Man like 10 minutes into the movie.
Man. Just that, like, there's so much into the Spider-Verse that's just so great. Well, I'm pretty sure I
It's
mentioned this before, but, like, have you heard about the part where it's like they're web swinging for the first time, like Miles is learning how to do it?
hold
And
on, real quick. I just want to do one thing. Uh, we've basically talked about everything in these Digimon episodes. The last thing that happens is we see a mysterious figure drop down on a building, and then it ends.
yeah.
I just kind of wanted to wrap that up because like there's not much else to talk about anyways.
Let's see, I do have the thing. Okay, yeah, here we go. I do want to end on this image because this is a thing. And holy crap. And yeah, no real context to it. Like, Agent Jerry just kind of transforms, and it's terrifying.
Oh, you've got the okay, yeah.
Yeah, the sound design for, like, the D-Reaper stuff is so good. Like, it's nuts. Like, it's so creepy and weird. Like the weird little
Yeah,
chirps they make and stuff.
Agent Jerry uh, just goes straight for like body horror.
Yeah. But yeah, I do want to point out there's like a really cool detail in that swinging scene in Into the Spider-Verse where it's like, of course, like Miles is like done at like a different frame rate from like, the other characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's like Miles is like more janky, because he's like more awkward. So it's like, he physically looks like different when he moves on screen than like the other Spider-Men who like, know what they're doing and have more like agency. And that scene, like, as they're learning to like do the swing and he's like syncing up with the old Peter, like they actually changed the frame rate so that his animation becomes smoother to match with the old Peter as he gets into the rhythm of it.
That's super good. I think I had heard that before, but yeah, that's really cool.
It's such a cool little detail.
There's also the scene where Miles like finally like he gets the courage to step up and face like Kingpin and everything, and like he's going to try and swing on his own, and he like jumps off the building, and then like the camera inverts to show him rising.
Yeah, oh, that's such a good scene.
Yeah, it's like the visual mastery of that movie.
Yeah, oh man. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, Sideways has such an amazing video on just that moment. Where he just, like, digs in and he's like, oh yeah, you might not even notice, but it's like, the reason why this, like, impacts you so much is that this is not just What's Up Danger playing. Like, they've incorporated Miles' theme from throughout the movie into this song in the background, so it hits extra hard. It's like the theme of, like, heroism is mixed in there.
Whatever that is probably something I just didn't care about, because that's the one part that doesn't really hit me, because it's like I don't really like rap.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, whatever. Like the scene is cool, but the music choice doesn't do anything for me.
Oh man, it's so good though. Because it's like, if you actually pay attention, it's like they have the theme of heroism and stuff, and it's like, the trumper where it's like, da 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 da, Like, I'm doing a bad job imitating it, but it's like they actually, like, distort the crap out of it, and that's how they get the Prowler's theme. To show that he's connected to Miles.
That's pretty cool.
And that's where you get those, like, crazy, like, scream notes from. Oh, it's such a good movie. Oh, it's so good.
It's really good. Everybody should watch
Into the
Spider-Verse on Netflix.
I think end of the Digimon podcast, go watch Into the Spider-Verse. So is there anything else we want to get into?
One of the episodes I've been waiting for finally happened. It's the Beelzemon redemption arc.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much else really.
I feel like at some point I was like do a thing of like, oh, which of these episodes is the best, or how do you feel, or whatever, but it's like it feels
biased.
Yeah, it feels so unnecessary at this point, because it's like everything's just sort of been good, and it's good in a way that like blends together between episodes as like a continuous thing. So it's like, oh yeah, how's episode like 44? It's like, oh, it's good. It was like it worked.
Yeah, there's a reason that Tamers is my favorite of the Digimon series I've watched.
Yeah, because at the start there's like a bit of inconsistency and stuff, like in like O2 or whatever. But now it's like, nah, it feels like we're just like run at all cylinders now. It's like crap's good, man.
Yeah.
Like crap is working. But yeah, like that'll be all for a night. Like, check out the YouTube channel at like Dethhollow with an E, no A. Effing Twitch is, if you're watching right now, it's like the same thing, Dethhollow, E, no A. Check out MaskedHeroLucky at his Twitch. He does like just nostalgic games. He does PS2 or whatever. He does like Kingdom Hearts sometimes, stuff like that. I guess
I'm a variety streamer. I play whatever I feel like, whenever I feel like. So
yeah.
the only way you're getting live is if you subscribe to me. Also, my computer's dying, so I'm kind of limited to PS4 games right now.
Right, that's true. But you are in the D&D campaign, which is gonna have another episode out this Sunday, another stream.
Are we?
I think it's this Sunday. I believe that's what it is. I'm pretty sure it is, at least.
We did our last session last Wednesday, so I don't think we have one this week.
I'll ask around and make sure, but yeah, that's a thing.
I'd have to just ask.
Yeah, he plays an effing alcoholic robot, and I play an elephant that keeps dying.
My character's not as funny as that sounds. I don't want, not to disappoint anybody, but I don't play him very much like an alcoholic.
An alcoholic robot and a boxing elephant that just keeps butting his head at every single problem we come across. Just the definition of punch it till it works. But yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say. I'll see you guys around later.